Own it, Jaguars fans.
Dropping his Trevor at the quarterback draw. Trevor Lawrence got to walk into the end zone. Touchdown. A quarterback draw and an easy touchdown for Trevor Lawrence.
This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey will guide you through the next 2 hours with insight and analysis of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the tailgating started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
For the 8th time, the Jaguars head to the United Kingdom. Today, it's the 30th London game in the NFL International Series, and it's a game that both teams need. The 1-4 Miami Dolphins and the 0-5 Jacksonville Jaguars kick off at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, set for 2:35 in London, 9:35 here in Jacksonville. Pardon the pun, but we're up with the Roosters today. Speaking of Tottenham Hotspur, and this is Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. Top of the morning to you.
I got up before the Roosters today, just I'll have you know, for that hour drive in from St. Augustine, but thanks for the thought.
Jaguars in London, the 8th time. This was these games in London were not played last year due to COVID-19. The international series is back. There's talk of expansion of the series down the line to Germany. We'll hear from Chris Halpin a little later in the show from the National Football League on all of that going on. For this Jaguars team, though, they've got to get something going, get something together, find a way to get a winning result. 20 consecutive losses and growing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the locale is at this point, JP. Just get a win, man. If it takes going to London to beat the Miami Dolphins, we'll play them there. We'll play them in Timbuktu. It doesn't matter. They've got to snap this losing streak. Miami, on paper, seems to be one of the most gettable opponents for the Jaguars coming up on the schedule. Of course, everyone else looks at the Jaguars and says that's the most gettable opponent on our schedule, and that's fair because they have lost 5 in a row to open the season, only one of 2 winless teams in the NFL, and, of course, the losing streak stretching back to week 1 when they got their last win in 2020 against the Colts. So great day to break it, JP.
Let's get to today's game day weather presented by roofclaim.com. Protection made simple, and it is exactly the same temperature here in Jacksonville as it is in London currently. 57 degrees. That front came through last night here in Jacksonville. A high today of about 75 or so, maybe not even to that. Also in London today, it is an open-air stadium at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The high there is forecast to be around 61 degrees today, and it should be clear most of the day in London. Let's get to today's top stories, starting with the trip and the team arriving in London Friday morning, proceeding to the Grove Resort, about an hour drive northwest of London. Urban Meyer before the trip on the travel plan.
I did the one trip when I was at Notre Dame. We went to Dublin, Ireland. But as a coach, all you worry about is make sure the guys. We had a team meeting yesterday about how, the whole sports performance model, how to take care of yourself to get, we have to keep these guys awake when we get over there. So I'm concerned about all that stuff. We are such a believer in the sports performance model that our guys are really doing a good job with it. The good thing is I've not done it, but the Jaguars have. The Jaguars have a pretty good plan. We had 2 or 3 options that Trent and I listened to the players first, our leadership committee, and then we just decided what was the right thing to do.
Upon arrival, defensive end and outside linebacker Josh Allen said his trip was a little smoother than normal.
This time I actually slept the flight personally. So got a good 5 hours in. So, for me, I was well rested. I know a lot of other guys were asleep too. So I know when we were coming down last year, a lot of guys, I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I really don't like sleeping on the plane, but I'm so tired. I get tired now with 3 kids at the house, so I need all the time I can. So I was slumping, and I feel great and well rested, and I'm about to take a little nap in a couple minutes.
Trevor Lawrence earlier this week discussing the game in the UK.
It's kind of ironic we're going all the way to London and play a team from Miami. That's the one thing I thought about. But no, we're excited. Obviously, I haven't been that many places, especially outside of the country. So it's going to be really cool, and to play a game over there is going to be really exciting. I've heard about the fan base over there and how whenever teams come to play, they're always really excited, have a great showing, and fill up the stadium. So that's going to be fun to be around that atmosphere, somewhere different. I know we're excited. Obviously, the main thing is to go and get our first win, go win a game. But we are excited to go out there and play.
These are the 2 teams that have played in London the most in the National Football League. The 8th trip for the Jaguars. The Dolphins will be in their 5th game. They are 1-3 in their previous 4. The Jaguars 3-4 in London. If you can just put all that other stuff aside and focus on the 60 minutes at hand. That's the challenge sometimes in this London game.
Yeah, I think, the Jags have figured out the formula that works best for them in terms of when they travel, but I don't know how much of an advantage that is, because every NFL team just looks and sees, well, what are the Jaguars doing? What's working for them? And they've been the guinea pig, and understandably so. So I don't know how much having gone over there as an organization really gives them an edge in this one. Miami's played over in London a good bit, but not recently. And, most of this Jaguar team really hasn't played. Maybe not most would not be a fair way to say it, but nobody who was a rookie last year played in the game. Anybody who's new on the roster this year, most of the coaching staff has not coached in this particular game. So I don't know if it gives much of an edge, JP, but having a little, I guess, institutional knowledge doesn't hurt.
On Friday in the UK, we just heard from Trevor Lawrence. He also talked about the steady improvement he wants to see not only from the team but himself.
Every week it's just to get better. Like, regardless of what happens this season, obviously I think we're getting there and we're really coming along, starting to click, and I think we're playing much better football. But regardless of whatever happens these next 12 games, I plan on being in Jacksonville for a long time. So it's really a big picture thing, and I'm just going to keep getting better every week, and I think this team will do the same. So I have a lot of confidence in the people that we have, the coaches, just the group that we have in general. The team has been great.
That's a soundbite you really love to hear if you're a Jaguars fan. He plans on being here for a long time. It's a big picture view for Lawrence, and the steady improvement, at some point it will all pay off.
Look, I think most Jaguar fans coming into the season realize that this season is more about setting yourself up for the future. But when you're in the midst of it and you're in the midst of this losing streak, it's tough to see the forest for the trees sometimes. So hopefully they can get this win, get that narrative gone, and then we can focus more on the areas of Trevor Lawrence's game where he's getting better. Some of these other young players are going to be surrounding him for the next foreseeable few years as well. But you're right, JP. Every time he steps to the mic, I think we talk about this every single week.
Yeah.
This gives you a feeling of confidence, like, hey, I this is not too big for me. Been there, done that. Not in the NFL sense, but just in terms of being the focal point of an organization or a program, and gives you that added little bit of confidence that better times are ahead.
Jaguars offense, starting with Lawrence, trying to get the ball to playmakers a little more. Wide receiver Laviska Shenault Jr. last week had 3 targets and 1 catch in the loss to the Titans, and Darrell Bevel wants to spread it out a little bit more.
One of the learning experiences for him was just a load. How many extra plays that he was playing, not having the time coming off the field, so I think that affected him a little bit. But I got to do a better job at getting him involved. There's no question. And it is different when he's on the outside. I've had games where you go into the game, you say, hey, this guy's going to get this, this many, and he ends up like that. It ends up where the defense or the reads or the coverage, dictates it. But there's no question, we've talked about it. We want to get the ball in his hands. He got 1 play, makes an amazing play. So got to continue to find ways to get him the ball.
A little different having Shenault on the outside. That was the adjustment it sounded like from Bevel last week, but that's going to be the case moving ahead, it feels like.
Sure. Look, they found ways to get Jamal Agnew and Tavon Austin the ball, Dan Arnold the ball. You've got to get it to your outside guys here, and really only 7 targets between Laviska Shenault and Marvin Jones Jr. in the game last week, and Agnew, for instance, had 1 more than those 2 guys combined. And, well, it's nice to see Agnew as an added piece of the offense. Shenault and Jones are supposed to be your top 2 guys now that Chark is not healthy, and you've got to find ways, particularly because Darrell Bevel talked about that before last week's game. We've got to create more opportunities for Laviska. Trevor Lawrence missed him on what could have been a touchdown in the end zone, and that would have made the stat line look a little bit better. But you don't want to do what we did last week, JP, come out of halftime and wonder, did he even play in the first half? Because you really didn't notice his presence, so they got to get him going earlier.
Let's move to defense now. The Jaguars had some communication issues last week, especially on the back end. Defense coordinator Joe Cullen explaining the changes and who has the coach-to-player communication device in their helmet.
We've done that everywhere I've been. So, we had C.J. Mosley, the last place I was at, so we had to give it to a safety. We gave it to Eric Weddle. It went smooth for 2 games. We said, why don't you just keep it? And here, Miles had it for 2 years, no issues. You'd like to have a guy have it that's on the field every down. then that was the deal there. But I felt like, and we felt like, I wanted to take it off of Miles's plate, and we gave it to Damien. So we gave it to Damien, and then there's certain times you might signal, and then we always have a safety with it, Rayshon.
Yeah, so that's Damian Wilson. He's talking about the inside linebacker for the Jags. Miles Jack is out for this game, did not make the trip to London. And, earlier in the season, he was wearing that device, and there was all that conversation about he hadn't worn it in the previous season, and now he's back wearing it. Will his performance improve? Well, he's out today. Wilson had it most of the time, and then Rayshon Jenkins had it. It's moving around a little bit, but it's still, you're just calling the play and echoing the play after that is all it is.
Yeah, but, for Joe Cole to say there's no impact of Miles Jack, no downside to it is the way he kind of put it, is I don't think is accurate. His own personal play, I think, suffered a little bit when he was calling the signals. He got him communicated fine, but I think most people feel that the years in which he didn't have that communication device in his helmet were his better years.
There you have it, some of today's top stories ahead of the Dolphins and the Jaguars in Week 6 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. And time now for our weekly segment from Emmanuel Thalleran. He's up with us this morning, known as E.T., of course. We hear directly from you, the Jags fans, every week. And come on, somebody, come on, everybody.
Good morning, Jacksonville. And welcome to another edition of Come On Somebody, Come On Everybody. As always, first and foremost, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Now, it's ironic, because this week you really can be anywhere in the world. Our Jacksonville Jaguars has traveled across the pond to take on the Miami Dolphins. So this week, I asked you, the listeners, to give the guys a pep talk, with the option of doing it in your finest British accent. And some of y'all came through now. So let's check these phone lines out and see what we got. Cheerio.
E.T., it's your English boy, Andre.
Oh, Andre, what a way to start off the segment. What do you say, mate?
So here it is. All right, boys, here it is, pep talk English style. Get the hot tea down, yeah?
Or Hennessy, if you prefer.
Kick the fish's ass. Bring home the bacon. Get in there, son. The win is all that matters.
The bloody win is all that matters.
This Sunday, we're going to go to London, and we're going to kick those Dolphins right in the bullocks.
Oh, a swift kick to the bullocks will certainly leave one in a mood, eh?
And then we're going to send them swimming home. That's right, baby. Go Jaguars. Duval forever.
I echo those sentiments for the county of Duval. And that's on everything, fam. Straight up. Duval County. Oops. Apologies. I have seemed to have gotten out of character. Carry on.
E.T., this Angela. Hey, man, I want to tell the Jaguars, tighten up. Their ass should be tight as a snare drum.
A snare drum, you say?
How we gonna be fans if we f***ing lose? Tell them to be real about it. For real. We went to a blood rock.
Oh, yes, Angela. That was very much a bit bloody. Come on, somebody.
The JJs of Jacksonville are going to go out there in London today, and they're going to kill the Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence throwing for 300 yards in an international 5-touchdown game.
Oh, yes. International Trevor to kick some international bum.
Let's go, JJs. Let's go.
Go we must, Jaguars.
Duval.
Just want to say, come on, somebody. Let's get that W in the column. Duval till I die.
My, I love those sentiments. Hashtag Breckenridge.
From Seattle, Washington. Let's go, Jags.
Hoove, baby, here.
Oh, Hoove, baby. What a pleasure.
Come on to the London Fish Fry. Bring your own chips. Go, Jags. Come on, everybody. Duval.
E.T., it's your boy, Rudy. All the way from England, we need this stinking win tonight. Well, not tonight, but Sunday. And, man, let me tell you, we have to run the freaking ball. Give the ball to Robinson. Otherwise, I don't really see a chance for us this week. Duval! Come on, somebody.
Hey, Rudy, your accent trash, boy.
E.T., what's going on, man? It's your boy, Nolan Carroll. The Jags got this. They just got to play sound technical football, and they got to rely on Coach Urban Meyer. They got to put their trust in him. They've had a rocky start, but that's okay. As a team, you have your ups and your downs, but all they got to do is come out, play sound tomorrow on Sunday, and I think they'll get the win, man.
Oh, my brethren, Nolan Carroll. A perfect way to wrap up the segment. Hey, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in, and even more, everyone who participated. I know it's early, but it's game time. Y'all know what I'm on. Let's go get this dub. Come on, somebody.
He's done it again. The people have spoken in a British accent, sort of.
Well, some did.
Yes.
Yes. Andre's legit because that's where he's from. All right, he's lived in Jacksonville for a while, but he is from there. The rest of those were bordering on creating an international incident, I believe.
Right. Well, that's what it is.
It's all right.
It's what it is.
We did it all Friday on Jaguars Today, and so by now I am quite well used to Emmanuel's British accent.
904-207-7071. Get your thoughts in for ET's segment each week. We're just getting started on the Publix Tailgate Show ahead of week number 6 coming up in just a few minutes.
You don't replace Brandon. You don't replace AJ, right, for who they are. But the guys behind them step up, and they're going to play very close to that same level.
That's George Warhop, the Jags offensive line coach, on the changes up front today. But up next, we'll hear from Sky Sports NFL commentator Neil Reynolds in just a little bit. We'll hear from Chris Halpin from the National Football League when we return for the future of the NFL International Series in London. 2:35 UK time start, 9:35 a.m. here in Jacksonville, and this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey Jags fans, heading to TIAA Bank for a game? Take advantage of Jags Pay and keep your stadium transactions touch-free. Jags Pay is an all-new partnership between the Jaguars and Tap It to give our fans a contactless payment option for all concessions and merchandise. It's fast, safe, and easy to use. Just download the official Jaguars app on any mobile device, tap Jags Pay, and set up your secure payment method. You're all set. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/JagsPay. See you at the bank.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Hi, I'm Urban Meyer, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When I'm looking for a company to provide comfort to my home and family, I look for the same qualities I expect from my football team. High standards, superior knowledge, trust, and reliability. I've found that with Florida Home Air Conditioning, guaranteed exceptional service, and more than 20 years experience serving Jacksonville and the surrounding communities make their company my choice for heating and cooling. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Some things make a house your home. Like endless hot water that makes the tranquility from an everyday shower your thing. When heating water with natural gas, you have hot water when you need it, save money, and earn a rebate up to $675. Your home, our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
Jaguars Game Day is presented by ViStar Credit Union. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate show rolls along. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Jaguars play their 8th London game today, a 2:30 London time start, 9:30 a.m. here in Jacksonville. The Dolphins at 1-4, and the Jaguars at 0-5. The Jaguars now, the previous 7 have been at Wembley Stadium. The hiatus for the International Series last season due to COVID-19. Now back in the marketplace with 2 games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The league went in on this stadium with Spurs, and they had the retractable soccer pitch that unveils the turf field underneath for the NFL. It's a permanent field at the bottom, so a great showplace for American football in Europe. And we're going to hear from Chris Halpin coming up, the Chief Strategy and Growth Officer for the NFL. This is a huge piece of the future business of the NFL, is expanding the international footprint, Mike. And, we heard this week about Germany. There are 3 cities in Germany that are vying to get a game, maybe even next year if they can turn it around quickly. But this thing's only going to grow in the international series.
Oh, look, absolutely. The NFL makes a lot of money off of it. They create new fans. Those fans, in turn, buy a lot of merchandise. They put eyeballs on television sets, and the cycle continues. So they're going to continue to reach out into other markets. Like you said, JP, London's not going away. Germany's going to be added. We've seen games in Mexico City before, and we'll continue to see those as well. And, the NFL – I'm sure has his eyes on a lot of other markets that are not being discussed publicly right now, but it's really not surprising because the games we know have been a financial windfall for this franchise here in Jacksonville. I imagine it's the same for the league as a whole.
Chris Halpin, the Chief Strategy and Growth Officer for the National Football League. The Jags have had a big hand in showing other franchises what could be in international markets.
We visited at Wembley back in 2019. We're visiting on London Week again here in 2021 after a year off. It's nice to visit with you again, Chris. How are you?
Great, JP, and great to be back together talking London games and NFL football and the other side of the depths of the pandemic. So great to talk to you.
Yeah, you oversee very important growth areas for the National Football League, international business, of course. The legalized sports betting realm is under your scope now as well. We'll touch mostly on the international business. The Jaguars have a big hand in that international business as well. This is the 30th London game in the NFL International Series this week, the 8th Jaguars appearance in the UK, and now coming off a year removed, a year away. Everybody was away last year from the international games. How challenging was it to get back in that marketplace this year? After hitting the pause button during COVID a year ago?
When you think back to April 2020, when we made the decision to cancel our international game slate. It's one of those decisions that you knew it was the right choice at the time. It was still hard, and it was clearly proven to be the right decision, and the fans understood, but you knew you had to get back to those fans. And they understand in that context, not having the NFL come to their home market, but the energy there, the demand is there. We wanted to get back. 2 things, though, that are interesting coming out of it. One, the energy and momentum we left last season with in international has never been higher. And we really benefited from a number of factors. We got better with our social marketing. Our partners worked hard. We launched Sky Sport NFL, a dedicated NFL channel, much like NFL Network in the U.S., but launched that for the first time last season. And it really crushed our expectations and Sky's expectations. So a lot of good momentum, but then we said, okay, we got to climb this hill. Just as we did to play the 2020 season in the U.S., we're going to have to figure out the logistics and climb this hill to play 2021 games in London. And I've said to a couple people here, when we told folks domestically, January, February, we were going to schedule these games, they looked at us like we had 2 heads. It was a gigantic team effort, and really on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. The UK government, Secretary of State Dowden, DCMS, City of London, Ministry of Sport, all of them were phenomenal partners. And also our State Department, the 4 teams that are playing, including the Jaguars, everybody was creative, responsive, and focused on the goal, which was to play regular season games back here. And we're thrilled to be doing it.
Chris Halpin with us with the National Football League. Now, of course, the Jaguars have a show on that Sky Sports UK channel each week. Sky Sports NFL, it's Jaguars Weekly UK, so we know that very well. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, first visit for the Jaguars. It's a building that the league went in with, Tottenham Hotspur, to help develop and build, in the retractable field and everything. It looks like a fantastic showplace for American football in the UK. And I know that the Jaguars are excited to be a part of this year's series and get a chance to play at Spurs, because it looks like a beautiful place, and it's a long-term agreement with the league to be in there.
That's right. And we're blessed to have, two stadia in London, Tottenham and Wembley, that are NFL caliber and can host games. They are each different. I think the Jaguars fans who have seen Wembley and in all its glory will also be struck by the Tottenham experience. It's the only NFL specifically built stadium outside the US and the world. And that's everything from the retractable soccer pitch that reveals the NFL field, permanent NFL field below it, to NFL scale locker rooms, including number of players, size, everything down to women coaches and referee changing rooms, which don't exist in the Premier League and are part of the NFL. But also from a fan perspective, it is much more of an NFL feel in terms of proximity to the field, of the stands, sight lines, the broadcasting infrastructure, and where the announcers are. So it's an incredible experience, and they are able, through the video boards, to really personalize it to the home team. So you'll see not only Jacksonville teal, but you'll see also graphics, executions that are very specific to the Jaguars. And it's a great experience. We were thrilled to open it a couple years ago, and we're thrilled to get back there. I think, both Falcons and Jets ownership and club president CEOs remarked about how extraordinary experience is. So we're excited the Jaguars are going to participate.
Chris Halpin with us, Chief Strategy and Growth Officer with the National Football League, ahead of the Jaguars-Dolphins matchup in Week 6 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. 2 questions for you. What is an ideal international schedule 5 years from now? And secondly, how's your German?
I'll answer the second one first. My German is poor, but we're going to work on it. There are certain moments that you work collectively as a group for a long time on, and then they occur, and you're thrilled to have achieved it, but it also opens up so many other things. And for the NFL International strategy, there were 2 votes that occurred at the March owners meeting that really position us at a different level for growth. One was the 32 owners approved that the international game series can pull 4 games out of every schedule and have them be played internationally. And every team will participate over 8 years. And some teams will clearly participate more just based on, the math. But that commitment by all 32 teams to play games internationally is a statement about the success of the International Series game program, and full credit to my predecessor, Mark Waller, but also a statement about their commitment going forward. And so with that, the reason I raised that is, with that inventory, we now know, we can plan out which teams, when, where, going forward. Baseline would be 2 games in London, 1 game in Germany, and 1 game in Mexico out of that pool. On top of that, we expect to continue to have volunteer teams that offer to play a game internationally. The other vote, which ties in here, is the 32 owners approve what we call the Club International HMA strategy, which is teams can make marketing proposals to add an international country to their home marketing area, which is their home marketing area is the surrounding radius. And it's the first time any NFL team, besides the Jaguars in London, actually have been able to do things outside their home market. So we have teams very interested in Mexico, Canada, UK, Germany, other European countries, Brazil, Australia, China. And what that ties to is, there are teams that say, we want to play international series games in this market because we also want to do more there directly through this program. So a lot of momentum. What it looks like in 5-10 years, hard to say. But all the patterns are in the right direction for continued growth.
Well, it seems like the Jaguars' commitment, Mr. Khan's commitment early in this thing, 7-8 years ago now, the success, the return on that investment is a big reason it feels like why that vote probably went that way.
Essential. Absolutely essential. And then the Jaguars have been such great partners for the league in supporting in London and playing a game there a year. It led other teams as the road team to experience international games. I think the success the Jaguars have had developing a local fan highlighted to teams that by investing you can convert and build a fan base in another market. So they've been tremendous partners and have a major part in the success of NFL International.
That's Chris Halpin from the National Football League, the Chief Strategy and Growth Officer for the NFL. He also told me a little later that they have representatives from all 3 of the German cities that are vying for the game in London this weekend to take a look at the behind-the-scenes process of putting a game together and all the logistics going leading up to the game the week of, getting the teams in and out of town, moving them around town, getting them in the stadium, everything that goes into a game day. So it's a big weekend because to really move this thing forward. And, yeah, he said the baseline, 2 games at Spurs because that's contractually obligated, 1 in Germany and 1 in Mexico. That's the baseline. And then volunteer teams. That's likely where the Jaguars would fall into the equation.
Well, that's where they'd like to fall into the equation. We know that. They want to continue this. It's been, as we said, very lucrative. They make roughly 2 times the gate at a London game that they do here in Jacksonville, and that helps, supplement the local income. So we know Shad Khan wants to continue it. The question is, will the NFL let him continue to be one of these kind of semi-permanent residents there 1 game a season?
Plenty ahead on the Publix Tailgate Show coming up in just a few minutes.
I didn't play 3 different positions since I've been here so far. Nothing steady, but now I think they got me where I need to be. Yeah, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for that.
That's Tavon Austin, Jaguars wide receiver. He has some experience in London, a couple games with the LA Rams. But up next, we'll hear from another guy with London experience. It's offensive line coach George Warhop. He used to be the offensive coordinator for the London Monarchs. He sits down with Brian Sexton coming up. Dolphins, Jaguars at 2:35 in London, 9:35 Eastern Time at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit MoveDayMovers.com.
The original pizza logs are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and available at the stadium on game day. You'll find those delicious gourmet pizza egg rolls at concession stands, clubs, and suites. For all their products, be sure to check out pizzalogs.com and have them delivered right to your home. That's pizzalogs.com.
Put down the burger, put down the dog. Pick up the original pizza log. There's only one. The original pizza log. Yeah.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Dick's Wings and Grill family of restaurants is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They invite you to stop into one of their area neighborhood grills where you can count on fresh quality wings where you call the flavor. At Dick's Wings and Grill, their menu has a food and flavor for everyone in your group. If you prefer delivery or online ordering, just visit dickswingsandgrill.com. Every Dick's Wings and Grill is locally owned and operated. Dick's Wings and Grill, winging it since 1994.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit ridesmartflorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation. We continue with the Publix Tailgate Show ahead of week number 6. The Dolphins and the Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, a 2:35 London time kickoff, 9:35 a.m. Eastern time. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, and let's look around the National Football League.
Let's do it, JP, as the Jaguars seek their first victory of the season against the Miami Dolphins in London. We take a look first around the rest of the AFC South, where in Indianapolis today, the 1-4 Colts will host the 1-4 Houston Texans in an early afternoon kick. The Colts will be without their regular kicker, Rodrigo Blankenship. He's dealing with a hip injury. Michael Badgley elevated from the practice squad to take his place, although T.Y. Hilton was activated off of injured reserve and is ready to go, it appears, for the Colts. Meanwhile, the Texans will be without the services of their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, who injured a thumb in Houston's loss to New England last Sunday. Tunsil had surgery, expected to miss about a month. And, of course, on Monday night, division-leading Tennessee brings the 3-2 record into the Monday night football game this week, where they'll host the 4-1 Buffalo Bills. Titans running back Derrick Henry leads the NFL with 640 rushing yards through 5 games. That's 117 more than Cleveland's Nick Chubb, who will miss the Browns game today with the Cardinals due to a calf injury. So a chance for Henry to extend that lead a little bit today. Ezekiel Elliott in third place, but a distant third to Henry. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Raiders will play their first game since head coach John Gruden stepped down after a history of racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic language came to light in a series of emails to former Washington general manager Bruce Allen. Special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia will fill in as an interim head coach. The Raiders take on the Broncos in Denver later today. A few other players, in addition to Nick Chubb, who have been ruled out for the weekend, include Christian McCaffrey after missing the last 2 weeks with a hamstring injury for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers placed McCaffrey on injured reserve yesterday, meaning he'll miss today and at least 2 more games to follow, as will Russell Wilson and Chris Carson of the Seahawks, the quarterback and running back, both placed on injured reserve yesterday. Curtis Samuel, by the way, out for the Washington football team when they take on the Chiefs today. It has been an injury-plagued start to his career in Washington with only 4 catches on the season.
There's your look around the National Football League. You mentioned Derrick Henry leading the way, 640 yards. Nick Chubb's a little bit behind him. Zeke Elliott is third. James Robinson fourth in the league in rushing yards.
Yeah, he's been getting it done. Imagine if they just fed him the ball.
He's tied for 13th in carries in the league.
It's crazy, right, how productive he's been. So we've heard a lot of those calls for James Robinson to get the ball more. I think the Jaguars are well aware of their need to get him the ball more, JP. With next weekend off, I'm calling for 28 touches today for James. 22 carries, 6 receptions. That's what I want for James Robinson
34
today.
By my
22
math. 34
carries.
total touches.
No,
right?
22 carries.
28
and
touches.
28 touches.
Got it.
Right, not carries.
I was told there would be no math.
Well, I just did it for you. So
Thank you.
None for you. 22 plus 6, still 28.
Let's talk a little offensive line. George Warhop has been here since 2019, longtime offensive line coach around the National Football League, and in fact has some NFL Europe and World League of American Football experience. He was the offensive coordinator for the London Monarchs in the early 90s. Doug Marrone was on that team, by the way, and actually still has the ball from the final snap of the first World Bowl at his house. George Warhop was his offensive coordinator. He's now the Jags offensive line coach. Plenty to discuss with George Warhop earlier this week with Brian Sexton.
Headed back to familiar territory. Fond memories for you from your days in the World League of American Football?
Oh, I'd say by far my most fun ever coaching football.
Why is that?
Because it was just football, right?
Okay.
There was no ownership, there was no college, there was none of this, none of that. The media really didn't have a clue about what was going on, so it was just us and our guys, right, going out to play, and to me it was just really pure.
Is London, in your estimation, has it become an NFL town?
I'd say so.
Okay.
I'd say so. I think they like football in general. I think no matter who plays there, they get a nice crowd. And I think they're more educated. Now, when we were there playing, we were competing with soccer, right? And the big thing was, by the end of it, we were outdrawing the Division I soccer team. And we had a really good team that year. So that was a big deal. That was a big deal. When we played in Wembley and it was packed out, it was loud, and they were learning when to cheer, when not to cheer. It was quite an experience.
So you're going over with a football team and an offensive line that helped produce 198 rushing yards against a pretty rugged Titans front last week. Coach, how do you keep it going despite the fact that you're going without Brandon Linder?
You just keep it going. I mean, in the room, right, I'm going to just reel that back in. I like our room from top to bottom. That's first and foremost, right? You don't replace Brandon. You don't replace AJ, right, for who they are. But the guys behind them step up, and they're going to play very close to that same level. So I don't have any issues with us and what we're capable of doing, right? We just got to go out and continue, as we preach in the room, just get incrementally better each week. That's all we care about, right? Just make sure we are getting incrementally better each week. Not every week's going to be 198 yards rushing, but we're going to be able to run the ball regardless of who we're playing. At the end of the day, we'll see what the carries are and whatnot, but it's going to be productive, and we all know that.
You know, I go back to 2017, and people forget Brandon missed a big chunk of that season. And as they started winning, Tyler Shatley was the starting center. Is it unique for a team to have a backup center in place all these years, as many years as Tyler has been here, going all the way back to 2014 when Brandon arrived? That's kind of a different situation.
Yeah, but that's in Shatley's hands as well, right? I believe he's had opportunities to leave, but when it's even, he wants to stay here. I take my hat off to him, right? Not running away saying I want to go here or go there, looking at what's really here, right? Not everybody understands what's really in this building, right, and how special it could really be. And the guys that are throughout this whole team that are really some tremendous people. Guys like Shat, they know that, right? And he knows once we get it turned around, right, it's not going to be a one-year deal, right? The foundation that's being built here is going to be built for the long haul. I mean, I'm just beside myself with excitement. Really, we've got to win a game, right? We got to win a game so everybody else understands what we're about. But what's going on in this building is, I think, is really, really, really exciting.
Let me dive in on that for just a minute, George. Would one win flip the switch for this football team? Could one win be the spark that gets that thing headed in the right direction?
I think it can be. I think what the one win will do, though, it'll show everybody out there that doubt us that we are capable, right? I mean, the last 2 weeks, we just have to finish. I mean, if you look at those games, I mean, there's some phenomenal football being played by this team. We just didn't finish the game. We got to finish the game. And we finish those games, and the more we finish, the more wins are going to come. So the first one is always the hardest, the one you have to get. After that, it gets easier, I would say.
Coach, every quarterback has a good relationship, or everyone should have a good relationship with his offensive line. As I look at the way that Trevor interacts with those offensive linemen up front, it seems to me like he's got a really good one going. Do you sense that cohesion between a guy who's starting his 6th game and a group that's played a couple of seasons together?
He's a unique kid. I shouldn't say kid. He's a unique young man. He's wise beyond his years. He carries himself like a veteran player. He's learning the NFL game, but how he interacts with his teammates, he's like a seasoned vet. He interacts not only with the line that way, you should see him with the backs, with the receivers, okay, even with the defensive guys. I mean, how he carries himself is like he's been in the league 5-7 years, right? Like he is an established starter who's been very, very successful in the league.
And one final thought, Coach, on the running game in particular. For those guys up front to have James Robinson, who's coming off his best game as a pro, which is saying something because he's had some good ones, and Carlos Hyde, that 1-2 punch. What's the mentality like in your room when it comes to the running game with those guys behind you?
We just know we get on our guys and stay on our guys, force arm tackles, and those guys are going to be productive, right? And that's our whole deal, right? Get on our guys, stay on our guys, finish our guys, force arm tackles. And you know James and Carlos, Okay, and even Dari, when he's in there, they're running through those plays. So those 3-yard runs are going to be 5. Those 5-yard runs are going to be 8, and if it's clean, it's going 40.
Coach George Warhop, safe travels to London. Look forward to seeing you next week with a win.
No question. Thank you.
George Warhop, longtime NFL offensive line coach with the Jaguars starting in 2019, and obviously had that connection with Doug Marrone, has the connection with Urban Meyer from their college days back at Cincinnati a long time ago, and Warhop's been at it. He has a good group to work with. There's some changes there today. I mean, Linder's out, A.J. Cann is out, so you got Barch at right guard. Tyler Shatley, longtime Jaguar, of course, will play center today. Both were on the injury report this week, by the way. Groin issues for each one of them, but both are expected to go in today's game.
Yeah, if healthy. It's funny because Brandon Linder is regarded as the best offensive lineman on the team, one of the better centers in the league. I don't feel like there's that tremendous a loss when Tyler Shatley has to play because he's so experienced. He's played a lot of center and both guard positions as well. So Barch played well, I thought, last week. And in general, the offensive line has done a good job blocking for James Robinson and a pretty solid job protecting Trevor Lawrence as well.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back in just a few moments. We'll hear from Tavon Austin, Jaguars wide receiver. He's played a couple of games in London in his earlier days with the LA Rams. And a little later, another hour of the Publix Tailgate Show at 7:30. We'll have the top headlines heading into week number 6. 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time kickoff for the Dolphins and the Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Decisions are a part of our everyday life. Whether you're building a football team or building your education, your success is built on the decisions you make. So choosing J-Tech as your career training destination should be a no-brainer. With small class sizes, dedicated instructors, job placement assistance, and financial aid available for those who qualify, J-Tech is praised as a good choice by our graduates. Learn how you can build your career the right way by visiting jtech.org for more information.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans, Corona Extra is giving you the chance to win big. Be one of 3 winners to receive a VIP game day experience complete with limo transportation, a Jacksonville staycation, and tickets to the Jaguars home game Sunday, November 28th. Enter for your chance to win at jaguars.com/Corona. Must be 21 years of age or older. See full rules for details. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. We all want to look and feel our best, so why not take the next step with a consultation with Dr. Patrick Basil, board-certified plastic surgeon. Offering a variety of wellness, skincare, and aesthetic treatment options, you can look better, feel more confident, and transform into your best self. They offer the most advanced, innovative treatments in a modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more at transformjax.com. That's transformjax.com or call 904-222-6262.
Jaguars Game Day is presented by ViStar Credit Union. The Publix Tailgate Show continues from Jacksonville. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. The Dolphins and Jaguars kick it off at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London at 2:35 London time, 9:35 in Jacksonville. It is week number 6, and it's time now for our Baptist Health visit with a player. Baptist Health, changing health care for good. What an interesting year it's been for Tavon Austin. Came to training camp late, turned on and was really playing well right out of the gates in camp. Got hurt towards the end of camp and missed the first few weeks, but now he's back and making plays and getting the ball thrown his way on offense.
Yeah, it came into a situation where they needed to replace initially the touches that they expected to go to Travis Etienne, and I think those are some of the touches that you'll see him continue to get along with Jamal Agnew, some of those short area targets. And now with DJ Chark out there, there's more targets for everybody in this offense, and we'll see how Laviska Shenault adjusts to playing on the outside primarily. But Tavon Austin's been around the league, and you know, he's never been a superstar, JP, but he had a high draft pedigree. He's a very good athlete. Like you said, he caught some eyes, opened some eyes in training camp. Let's hope he can continue what he did last week, which was a nice little showing. You know, the Jags are going to need it. They don't have a lot of playmakers to threaten defenses down the field right now. Not saying he's going to be the guy to do that over the top, but he's another outlet for Trevor Lawrence right now.
Ninth-year receiver Tavon Austin. It's a place you've been before a couple times with the Los Angeles Rams. What is your biggest takeaway from your previous trips over there?
You know, I had 2 trips. So one trip I was there for a week, and then one trip I was there from Thursday to Sunday. You know what I mean? So it was a great experience. I'm really not a out of the country type of guy. I mean, but, you know, London was cool for the most part. It was all right.
And, you know, a whole week and then a short week. The Jaguars have done it different ways over the years as well. At least physically, what was the best for you?
Honestly, the Thursday to Sunday was better for me. Just the food kind of got to me over there. I lost about 7-8 pounds that whole week we was over there. So, you know, I'd rather just do the Thursday to Sunday, get over there and get right back.
Let's talk about your year so far. It was a strange kind of camp for you. You were at home. You came in, and right away you're doing end-arounds in the first practice and running and making an impact. Then you got banged up at the end of training camp there. Are you back to yourself? It's been a whirlwind this whole season, it feels like, for you.
Oh, yeah, it's been tough. But the one thing about it, I ain't going to never stop. I came in 8 days late at camp. You know, I'm thankful for the coaches, I'm thankful for the staff that is coming in and giving me my opportunity, let me do what I do best. Nobody have let me do this for a long time, to let me come in and play receiver. So I appreciate that so much, more than I can explain in words, you know what I mean? And then as far as, I was on my way, you know what I mean? I was on my way. I was getting my legs up under me right before that last preseason game. And then, I had caught another little injury right quick, but, you know, I still ain't just ducked my head. I kept pushing forward. And I'm right back. You know what I mean? I'm right back. Made a couple plays last week, and hopefully just keep going up this week.
Yeah, 5 catches, 54 yards in last week's game. You know, take us through this offense right now. There's a lot of moving parts. A couple offensive linemen are down. Yeah. You've got DJ Chark down, some new faces in there, tight end.
Yeah.
There is the quarterback back there, though, that kind of triggers all of that, and that calms everybody's world, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, like you say, everybody going through what they're going through, the injuries, they bouncing everybody around, so – I done played 3 different positions since I've been here so far. You know, nothing steady, but now I think they got me where I need to be. And, I'm just thankful. You know, I'm thankful for that. I can just keep on punching. Hopefully nothing else happen, and I can try to bring a win over here to Jacksonville.
This offense, the passing game coordinator is Brian Schottenheimer. He was with you in St. Louis, if I remember right, the first 2 years.
OC. Yeah, my first OC, man, yep.
And what's the difference now in what he brings to the table than maybe back in those days in St. Louis?
I mean, pretty much, though, he just not the guy that's calling the plays. You know what I mean? But he just the same guy. He still got his scheme. He still do his things on how he motivated and how he draws stuff up. You know what I mean? So, it definitely felt good to get back with him. And another reason, I just feel like I'm a better player than what I was back then for him now. So, you know what I mean? I think we see each other on a different level now.
In year 9, what are you still learning about yourself as a football player? What are you still trying to work on?
the mental aspect of it. Because, a lot of people don't understand what we go through as players. They just think, you make all this money, you should be able to just go out there and run it all day. And nah, because a lot of players want to play. A lot of players don't get a chance to play. A lot of players just not in a position. A lot of players hurt. So, you know what I mean? So it's the mental part for me that I work on, and I got so much better with it. You know what I mean? Even when you go through trades and when you go through cuts, you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot on you. It's a lot on your family. So with that being said, it's like that was the number one thing that kind of I work on every day is my mental, keeping it straight, that I ain't got no interfere with that.
What's the next step for this Jaguars team? It feels like they've been close a few weeks. You guys are right there on the doorstep a couple times on offense. Defense has their moments. What's it going to take to get that first W?
It's just going to take about 3 or 4 plays. That's the only thing we missing right now, about 3 or 4 plays. One thing about it is we tough, we hard-nosed. You're going to get a good game from us. That's what we bring. That's what we bleed. You know what I mean? So it's just a couple more plays. We as soon as we get these 3 or 4 plays nailed on the pack, hopefully we'll be able to get that W for Jacksonville.
Tavon, great stuff. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Tavon Austin, Jaguars' 9th-year receiver, new to the team this year and contributing on the offensive side. Time now for our weekly commentary from Jaguars sideline reporter Rick Ballou. We call it Has Rick Lost It?
Good morning. My goodness, is it ever early? This should be interesting today, no doubt. The Jaguars make their 8th trip to London to take on the Dolphins, and the storylines are endless. Both teams are struggling, both teams are really beaten up, and both teams are desperate for a victory. But first things first, when do you start partying for a game like this? 9:30 in the morning? All right, if you're up, I imagine coffee and donuts right now, but when do the Bloody Marys and mimosas get brought in? And are you hungover from a Saturday night of college football? Wait a minute, you're used to this. Again, this is your 8th time. It's yours truly who needs to wake up. Typically, I'm lucky enough to be in London. And of course, with the time change there, it feels like a regular Sunday. Anyway, the game today is going to be an intriguing one. You could really write any type of script and it would be believable. For starters, will this come down to the final minute? Will it come down to a kick? You realize that 19 of the 80 games that have been played so far this year have been determined in the final minute or overtime. Could it be a blowout today? Man, I don't see that. Here's what I believe. The Jaguars snapped their streak. They're the better team. They pound the ball with James Robinson, and with Xavier Howard being out, Miami's top corner, Trevor Lawrence today makes some big plays throwing the football downfield. Here's what else I want to see. A goal line situation. In nearly 30 years of covering the NFL, I don't think I've ever seen that, nor did I ever think that I would ever say that. But after what happened a week ago, admit it, you want to see it too. How will the Jaguars line up? How will they handle things if they have it inside the 5-yard line? Let's hope that that's part of today's victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Enjoy yourself, Jag fans. And as far as I'm concerned, Jaguars get off the schneid, head into the bye week with a victory. JP?
All right, Rick. That's Rick Ballou, Jaguars sideline reporter. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. The second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show coming up. We'll hear from Neil Reynolds of Sky Sports. We'll go to the broadcast booth and hear from Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman as well. Dolphins, Jaguars coming up, and it's the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you a Jags and a pet fanatic? Then enter for a chance to win your very own customized jersey and answer Game Day trivia live on the TIAA Bank Field video boards at an upcoming Jaguars home game and our Pet Fanatic of the Game sweepstakes presented by Pet Paradise. To enter, scan the QR code on the Sky Patio or go to jaguars.com/fanatic. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit VyStarCU.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field in Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts. Power-packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste, Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanut! Get your peanut!
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Jaguars Game Day presented by ViStar Credit Union. It's hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. 2 hours away from Week 6. The Miami Dolphins at 1-4. The Jaguars at 0-5 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The Jaguars' 8th trip to the UK a couple of years ago was the last time. Of course, everybody in the International Series did not play those games last year due to COVID-19. They're back. This is the second week in a row they'll have an NFL game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we'll see down the line what the future holds for the International Series. Germany is in play, it sounds like, maybe starting next year if they can get the logistics behind it going. And it's what the league wants to do, build that international footprint. The Jaguars have been a big piece of that, of course, over the years to establish that presence in the London marketplace on a regular basis, and that's kind of helped some of the business around the league of maybe moving some other teams forward in their international expansion ideas of brand expansion, more not expansion of franchises. I don't want to go down that road. That's not going to happen, but expanding the footprint of teams internationally. That's a big piece of what the league owners want to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much that the Jags want to expand their footprint now as maintain what they've established here and continue to be a presence in London. It's great revenue-wise. They've developed some fan affinity and affection over there as well, JP. And while it may not sound like much, 3-2 in their last 5 trips to London overall over that same period of time, much better than the overall record in that period of time, despite the fact that they had the outstanding season in 2017. Don't know if it really has anything to do with the locale. I don't know if it's a big advantage now, as teams have all experienced playing over there for the most part. But nevertheless, they've had more success there in the last 5 outings than they've had on average in the last 5 or 6 seasons of football.
Game day weather is presented by roofclaim.com. Protection made simple. It is 2 degrees warmer in London than it is in Jacksonville right now. 59 in London, 57 in Jacksonville, high of 61 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today. No rain in the forecast, though the rain in London will start coming in tomorrow, it looks like. Here in Jacksonville today, a high of about 73 and bright Florida sunshine. Here are today's top stories, starting off with the Jaguars on the ground in London. Urban Meyer Friday in the UK on planning this trip.
You know, when I first heard about us coming to London, I asked our players, this whole trip was designed by our leadership committee and what time we get here, what we do, and all that type of thing. And, I remember Josh Allen was one of the first times I met with him, and the players love it. The environment tomorrow night, this will be my first, obviously, but there's a bunch of players that have experienced it. The beautiful stadium, the way you're treated, the way you guys treat us. I mean, this is great for everyone.
Urban's first trip to the UK, and, as we've said, the logistics side of this thing, Hamza Ahmad on the travel side, Jimmy Luck on the equipment side, Mike Perkins on the video and the technology side for the football team. Well, they've done this so many times. They know exactly where to go, how to get there, what to do when they're on the ground.
They do, and I don't doubt that the players love the way they're treated when they're over there. It still puts them out of their normal routine, and just being honest, I think if you polled players and it was an anonymous response, I think that most would choose to not have to travel 5 time zones away to play a football game. But look, it is what it is, and Shad Khan's always treated the players first class. We know, JP, firsthand how nice that resort is, the Grove that they stay at. Unbelievable. The kind of treatment that they get and the pampering that they get when they're over there. Look, I don't think Jaguar fans care all that much. They care about getting a W so we can stop talking about this losing streak, and then we can focus on just how many wins this team can have. So be it in London, be it in Jacksonville or anywhere else, they are just desperate for a win.
Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, playing better the last couple weeks, feels that his decision-making has improved.
The past 2 games have been my best as far as decisions go, and just completion percentage, accuracy, all those things. I think those are my 2 best games, so that says a lot, that I feel like I'm getting better every week. Trusting that that's going to put us in a situation to win games down the road. We obviously, to this point, it hasn't. But we're going to keep getting better, and eventually, if I keep doing my job, keep making, I'm going to make the plays. I have faith in that, in my ability that when there's a play to be made, I'll make it. But just doing the little things every play to take care of the football, to get it in our guys' hands that can go make plays, and really just to put us in a position to win. We're eventually going to win some of these. So that's what I'm going to keep trying to do every week, and that's what I think I'm getting better at.
Good stuff from Trevor Lawrence there. Understands where he is, where he wants to be, and has a plan to get there.
Yeah, by the way, when I say the team is desperate for a win, he said quite frankly, he's not desperate, right? Shouldn't look at it that way. I hope there's a little bit of a sense of desperation, though. With an 0-5 team, I get it. You can't panic. You still have to go through your preparation and all that, but I've got to believe it's eating away at all these guys. They're not all responsible for the 20 losses in total, but the 5 that are hanging over themselves right now. You don't want to be the last team to win a game in the season. And since the Jags play before Detroit today, they get that opportunity to get off that mark. So let's hope that that's the case.
Let's go to defense. Some communication changes a week ago and some communication issues. Defensive end and outside linebacker Tavon Austin had his own thoughts about those issues.
It don't even matter who has the call. Just all 11 of us got to be, in sync with the call, and we all got to focus in and haul in on our assignment and just what we plan on the back ends, or what kind of stunt or whatever we're doing in the front 7. So that's just something that we all just kind of over communicate. We preach that on a daily basis, and you can never have too much communication on the field, and we got to keep going with that.
Tavon had his arguably his best career game last week. 6 tackles, had a sack, and we'll see if he can carry that impact forward today against the Miami Dolphins. There you have it, some of today's top stories. Bucky Brooks will join us in the Scoreboard Show after the game for your calls and reaction to this one. This week we caught up with Sky Sports NFL presenter Neil Reynolds. He's been covering the league in the UK since the early 90s, and plenty to discuss, from bouncing back from the pandemic with the NFL in the UK to Germany and, yes, today's game.
It's going to be, JP, by the time the Jags kick off, 714 days since the Jags played in London. So, didn't get to chat with you last year. I know we spoke via email throughout the lockdowns that we went through and pandemic, but it's good to be with you in person. It's good to have literally just walked 500 yards away from where the Jags are practicing now here in the UK.
The Jags are at the Grove, which we stayed at some years ago up in the northwest countryside of London there. You said it. There was no international series games last year. So how has the marketplace responded now after a year off from NFL football? There was a game last week at Spurs. That's a long hiatus. How has it responded?
So last year, JP, we had record numbers of TV viewers, and everything just became more of a TV product. Of course, we didn't have the games in market. Nothing has slowed down since the Jags were last here in 2019. The fan base has grown even further. We're getting record TV numbers on Sky Sports and the BBC. This past Super Bowl was the most watched in the UK for more than 30 years. And last week when the Jets and Falcons played, it was a real party atmosphere. We appreciate all these games we have, but you really appreciate them when they're gone and they're back. It's like anything in life. When you don't have it, you appreciate what you had. And so, yeah, there was a real nice party atmosphere last week, and I think we'll see the same again. Just feels right to have these games back because these fans deserve it.
Neil Reynolds with us, Sky Sports in the UK. He joins us each and every year here on the Publix Tailgate Show. Well, the future of the international series now includes Germany, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Munich. I don't know how your German is, Neil, but what is the future there? And it feels like that's moving forward a little bit. Speaking of stadiums that can host NFL games, they have a history in NFL Europe and Germany, and that's a while ago now. That seems like that is starting to accelerate a little bit.
My German is nicht gut. It's that's a fan base as well. That's a fan base that kind of had a punch in the stomach when NFL Europe went away, because it was the driving force of NFL Europe, that German market. And I've been very fortunate to cover Super Bowls, to cover these London games. Some of the best nights I ever had covering football were in NFL Europe, in Germany. So, I think Dusseldorf and Frankfurt are kind of old favorites. They're like old friends of mine. But Munich would be pretty sensational as well. I think I'm already getting a lot of tweets from fans. Can this game be in October around the beer festival and all of that? But I just think it's good for it's not a competition between the UK and Germany, because German fans come over to the London games all the time. For me, this is now, here's another game in Europe that's going to offer up the sport to fans in Germany, to France, Belgium, Eastern Europe, but also it's a 1 hour flight for British fans, and they're going to have a great weekend in Germany. So yeah, whether it's still to be determined, I think whether it's 2022 or 23, depending on the sporting calendar, I guess, with the Soccer World Cup coming up different time next year. But yeah, just further growth of the sport, and that's what I'm really excited about. I'm lobbying hard with Sky Sports. We're going to be there for that first game. I don't know how much I have a say in that production stuff, but I'm going to be there for it. So they'll probably need to bring the crew, otherwise they won't ever present.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if you need an American, correspondent in Germany during Oktoberfest, I could probably swing that myself. Just let me know.
What a man. You're so good to take one for the team, JP.
Whatever I can do to help the ball club, Neil. Neil Reynolds is with us. All right, this game on Sunday at Spurs, the Dolphins need it. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 1-4. The Jaguars, we know what they're going through, 0-5, 20 consecutive losses. The records wouldn't tell you, but this is a big game. Both teams need this winning result on Sunday.
Yeah, this is a winnable game for from a Jags point of view. You've got Tua coming back off the rib injury. How is he going to be? I think just looking at it, I don't study it the same way you do. I'm watching all of the games on a Sunday night as part of our Sky Sports coverage. We haven't had a Jags game on yet. So I just look up and the Jags are, 19-17 or leading 17-14. And then in the blink of an eye, it's 31-17. So it's like, I feel like there's been competition there and competitiveness. And then all of a sudden, it just gets away from them. And when it gets away from them, it gets away from them in quite a fashion. So, but this is a game that's there for the taking. I think Miami are better than their stats probably show on defense. So it's going to be a challenge and a test for Trevor. But yeah, Miami's offense is not that special at the moment. 2 hungry teams, Now, I hope, we've had one of the best games we ever had in London was game between the Vikings and the Steelers. They both came in 0-3 in 2013. I'm just hoping we have a really competitive game.
Neil, Trevor Lawrence is big here in the United States. He's the first overall draft pick, of course. Does that transcend across the Atlantic? How big is his star power there?
Yeah, so he's the second most popular jersey sale in the UK this year so far this season. He's turning heads here at practice. You know, journalists are very aware of who he is. And yeah, my wife and two daughters are going to be at the game on Sunday wearing their brand new Trevor Lawrence jerseys. So there's no doubt he's making the right waves.
That's Neil Reynolds, Sky Sports in the UK. Our annual visit with Neil, and number one overall picks. They are they have the ability, at least, to be worldwide, known worldwide, and so far so good for Trevor Lawrence. He's selling a bunch of jerseys.
Yeah, and he's one of the more widely heralded number one overall picks to come into the league in a little while, and playing the quarterback position. Obviously, it's no surprise that he's got that kind of clout. Now imagine when he starts putting some wins together, JP, just what that fervor is going to be like.
No doubt. Daly's Play schedule coming up. Little Big Town, October 23rd. Tickets and information at dailysplace.com. We're back with First Rounds on Us. We'll head up to the broadcast booth for our weekly visit with our resident first-round picks and analysts Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli. The Dolphins and the Jaguars coming up in Week 6. It's a 2:35 London time kick, 9:35 a.m. here on the East Coast. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Jaguars fans, Corona Extra is giving you the chance to win big. Be one of 3 winners to receive a VIP game day experience complete with limo transportation, a Jacksonville staycation, and tickets to the Jaguars home game Sunday, November 28th. Enter for your chance to win at jaguars.com/Corona. Must be 21 years of age or older. See full rules for details. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
So we had a problem with our office IT systems a few months back. And of course, I don't want the boss getting upset about it, since she still hasn't forgiven me for last month's wardrobe malfunction. So I did the smart thing and called Sassine's Office Systems. They've provided top-notch IT solutions and services since 1981, including Ricoh copiers, printers, and mailing solutions. They even handle wide-format printers and electronic document storage, which is important since my boss still hasn't forgiven me for the birthday cake incident. Best of all, Sassine's Office Systems has flexible support programs, certified field techs, and fast, friendly service for one flat monthly fee. And saving money is always a good thing, especially since my boss still hasn't forgiven me for my parachute pants presentation. I was actually wearing parachute pants.
Trust Sassine's Office Systems to handle your IT equipment and office systems, including Ricoh-connected copiers and printers. Learn more at Sassines.com. That's SISSINES.com.
From TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It's Week 6. The Dolphins and the Jaguars kick it off at 9:35 Eastern, 2:35 in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Time now for first rounds on us.
New York Jets, first round choice, Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle Southern California, Tony Baselli.
We head up to the broadcast booth way over, upstairs at TIAA Bank Field, where they will call today's game in London, in Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, JP. Thank goodness, by the way, because there's a sports exemption for teams to go to London and play football, but for broadcasters and the like, you don't get that availability.
I do miss going over there. I like going over there, but hopefully in the future where COVID is not as big a deal, we'll be back over there.
I was actually looking at this, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, but it is about 350 miles from Jacksonville to Miami, right?
Yeah, I've driven it many times down 95.
But it's about 4,260 to go to London.
Yes.
So it's a long.
It's just kind of interesting. You got two teams that are in the same state. You're jumping on a plane and you're flying all the way across the big pond to London to play a football game.
It's a long way to go for an interstate rivalry.
It's kind of unique, I guess you could say. But nonetheless, JP, glad the Jaguars are going to London again because it's good business, as we know. It's always about the money, and it's a good thing. The Jaguars certainly have a great opportunity over there in London this year at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then I think next year maybe back to Wembley. We'll see.
Yeah, it does make good business sense, guys, as we know they make about twice the revenue over there. But do you think there's a competitive advantage anymore if there ever was one with the Jags having that familiarity? There's a lot of new faces here that haven't made that trip, and particularly not going in 2020. It kind of lessens that institutional knowledge of what that trip is like.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real advantage, Mike, because the Jaguars have been over there, 8 or 9 times. The Dolphins been, I think this is their 6th trip.
5. This is their 5th.
Oh, this is their 5th. Okay,
yeah.
5th trip. And so not that big a difference. Number 2, they're playing at a stadium. The Jaguars are. They've never played before because typically every other time they've been over there, it's been at Wembley. And you had a young team, and you said it, Mike, not a lot of guys have done it anyways for the Jaguars. So I don't see any distinct advantage of saying, hey, we have a routine, we know how to do this, we know the stadium, we got, we have the hotel right by the stadium. That's all it's all done.
If you were playing a team that hadn't been, then I'd say, yeah, you got an advantage, because if you go back and you think about the first time that we went over there, the food was terrible. The accommodations.
I don't know where you ate. I ate pretty good.
Well, I ate where the players and the team were eating at. I mean, Tony was out schmoozing with all the business ties.
I was like,
and rubbing elbows with royalty over there. Okay, I was with down in the grind with the team.
The grind.
Okay.
Yeah, you were grinding.
Studying
hard.
film and working hard and all that kind of stuff. And Tony's out having mimosas in the morning and Bloody Marys and all the other things.
I was working very hard, by the way.
But seriously, the first trip over there, the food was terrible. That was for the players. I mean, players were literally ordering pizzas and everything to try to get something in their stomach that wasn't. I'm just trying to be honest here, okay? The food over there is not like what we're accustomed to.
Oh, it's different.
At some places, okay?
Just depends where you go.
So some teams do have an advantage in that they know, like the Jaguars started bringing their own chef over there. They started bringing their own foods over there. And so when you have a team that has the ability to make things as normal as possible, I think that's an advantage. But the Miami Dolphins, like we said, they've been there a few times before, and so I don't know if it's a big advantage. But I can tell you one thing. One team's going to be very happy after today's game because both teams are not feeling very good about each other.
Well, I mean, the Dolphins haven't won since opening weekend against the Patriots. Obviously, the Jags have not won since last year. They opened the season. So both teams are looking for a win. Both teams are struggling. And I think the Dolphins, it's an interesting storyline because I think a lot of people thought they had maybe taken a step forward, but still a lot of unknowns with Tua Tagovailoa. And he was, drafted in front of a guy named Justin Herbert, who's doing great. He's not doing great. Fans are talking. You got to believe ownership is going, what are we doing?
The conversations about trading for Deshaun Watson.
And so you gotta kind of, not just a big game, but you look at the organization, and Brian Flores, the head coach, is he on the hot seat? Did the whole realm of what they did. Remember, they tore this down to the studs and got a bunch of draft picks, and we're trying to build it back up. Well, I'm not sure they've hit on a number of those draft picks.
It's certainly a little different this year because they went from Brian Flores' first year 5 wins. Last year they get to 10 wins, and this year guys are only at 1. So Jaguars have a good chance today, in my opinion.
Tua Tagovailoa, you mentioned him, coming back off that ribs injury. The Jaguars' defense last week had some communication changes and looked like at times some communication issues. Is it something you can clean up in a week's time?
Well, you hope so. I mean, it's possible. The concern I think that I have, and I think Tony's in the same kind of ballpark as I am, is that, okay, let's say you get the issues with communication cleaned up. You still have the inability at times to affect the passer. I mean, the facts is that this team is allowing opposing quarterbacks to complete 73.5% of their passes. I mean, that would be one of the all-time greats if a quarterback had that for his career. And the opposing quarterback rating is a 115. I mean, so they're just not affecting the passer enough. And what we mean by affecting the passer is 2 things. One, the coverage. And the coverage has not been great. And number 2, it's the pass rush and getting a quarterback to be uncomfortable in the pocket. And that's not something that the Jaguars are doing consistently. Now, last week, K'Lavon Chaisson had some moments. Josh Allen had a couple moments, but it's just not enough to consistently do that. And that's why this defense continues to give up about 30 points a game.
Tony, last week we talked about DJ Chark's absence. You didn't seem to think it would have a massive impact on the Jaguars' offensive performance. After seeing the 2 outside receivers only combined for 2 receptions, do you still feel that way, and what can they do to get the ball more consistently to Laviska and Marvin Jones Jr.?
I mean, Mike, it's a great question, but I guess the question back to the group would be, does DJ Chark make a difference? Because it wasn't like there was a bunch of targets outside either, and if you look at the other guys, Tavon Austin and Agnew, they actually made up for the catches. Now, different, it's all underneath stuff, short stuff, run after catch. So I think it's fair, but I don't think so, Mike, just because of how they're organized and how they played last week in the style of the game. They did not take a lot of shots down the field. Now, you could argue that's because DJ's out, but we have not seen this team in the last several weeks when they've been most effective, which is going through James Robinson, have a real vertical passing attack. It's been more underneath, crossers, some play action fake, and give it to James Robinson.
Now, the crazy thing is you bring up something about the vertical threat. I mean, didn't they sign Tyron Johnson to be a guy that has great speed?
Well, he does.
They were talking about that.
And talking to people who, about him around the league, I mean, the guy can flat fly.
Well, let's see it.
He's got to be on the field.
Send him.
I agree.
Send him go. Let him run a go route. And the beautiful thing about a go route is that you don't have to complete it to have it to be effective.
No.
Because go routes can do 2 things. One, they can clear a defense out and they make you cover the entire field, and so now it creates more space for everybody. And number 2 is that you can get interference calls if you do throw it, or maybe you catch one. I mean, I think there's got to be a little bit more vertical element, because we know one thing, the quarterback can throw it. I mean, he's certainly capable of doing that.
Time now for UF Health Finding Solutions. Visit ufhealthjax.org. The Jags have lost games in a bunch of different ways this year. They were blown out in week 1. They had second-half leads and lost those, and then physically outgunned last week against Tennessee. How do you finish a game? How do you teach a team to finish a game? That's the solution we're looking for today.
I kind of, you hear that, and because, the finish is okay, things get kind of out of control in the second half, and I think what you're referring to is that, third quarter, things don't go well. You've got a minus 42-point differential in the third quarter alone. But it's not a matter of finishing, in my opinion. I think it's a matter of just playing better the entire game. I'm not on the committee that believes that this team just needs to learn to finish. This team needs to learn to play better. And when I say play better, it's got to start with turnover differential. This team is not going to win unless it changes the narrative when it comes to the turnover differential. And that's something that's absolutely killing this football team. They have more giveaways than anybody in the National Football League. Their turnover differential is the worst in the National Football League. The number of takeaways as a defense is the worst in the National Football League. If you want to win games, you got to start there.
Well, I think, Jeff, you make a great point. And I think when you're losing, especially at the clip that the Jaguars are, you start looking for, okay, it's just we just need to finish games, or we just need to do this or that. And I agree with Jeff, and I'll say it a little bit differently. This team just got to be more consistent. I mean, you can't have these ups and downs during the game where you look like you're the 78 Steelers are unstoppable to the point where you feel like you can't even get out of your own way. And so it's a consistency to me. And typically when you aren't consistent is because it's either organizational, communication, and it might just be being a young team trying to figure out how to play the game at this level. So you hope as this team continues to grow and continues to get reps and continues to work together that consistency comes across, because that's how you eliminate turnovers. And by the way, that's how you get turnovers, because it's the continuous pressure, it's the continuous showing up play after play after play at a high level that is usually where the good things happen.
There you have it, UF Health, finding solutions. Visit ufhealthjacks.org. We're back in a moment. We'll get fantasy picks. Inactives are due here in just a few minutes. We'll see who the Jaguars have down today in this game against the Miami Dolphins. It's a 9:35 East Coast kickoff, 2:35 in London. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, alert today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about vehicle wraps to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Some things make a house your home. Like clean, fresh sheets that make a bed with the soothing scent of fabric softener your thing. When drying clothes with natural gas, you get faster, gentler drying times, save money, and earn a rebate up to $150. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
Hey Jags fans, heading to TIAA Bank for a game? Take advantage of Jags Pay and keep your stadium transactions touch-free. Jags Pay is an all-new partnership between the Jaguars and Tap It to give our fans a contactless payment option for all concessions and merchandise. It's fast, safe, and easy to use. Just download the official Jaguars app on any mobile device, tap Jags Pay, and set up your secure payment method. You're all set. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/JagsPay. See you at the bank.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate show rolls along ahead of a London game. The Dolphins and the Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. Kickoff time 9:35 Eastern, 2:35 this afternoon in London. Let's take a look at the inactives. The Jaguars have a number of players down for today's game, including kicker Josh Lambo. Matthew Wright was signed by the team, and he is on the active roster. Josh Lambo inactive for today's game, so Wright will handle the placements today. Tyron Johnson, wide receiver, inactive. Tyson Campbell still battling through a toe issue. He's out today, the corner. Linebacker Miles Jack did not make the trip. He has a back issue, and he's inactive. Rashad Coward was signed this week. He is inactive this week. He has been on the injury report as well. Jordan Smith, defensive end and outside linebacker from UAB, the rookie, inactive. And Tavon Bryan, defensive lineman, inactive for the Jaguars today, Mike.
All right, JP, 7 inactives officially for Miami. Quarterback Reed Sinnott will not be playing today. A pair of wide receivers, Devontae Parker and Preston Williams, both not suiting up, as are the Dolphins' pair of starting cornerbacks not starting today. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard both ruled out. Xavier Howard was ruled out prior to today, but both of those guys will not be suiting up. Tackle Greg Little and tight end Adam Shaheen joined their other Dolphins there, not suiting up for Miami.
Those are the inactives for today's game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The Jaguars at 0-5, the Dolphins at 1-4, and it's time now for our fantasy outlook. And my quest to go wire to wire this year, Mike, how are we looking?
It's tightening up at the top, let's put it that way, after you selected Dalvin Cook and it turned out he was not active. Speaking of inactives, last week. But, JP, you were saved from the first pick this week because Frank Frangie really – Frank, you put together a squad that for 3 guys that all started their game, I don't know if we've seen a point total this low in the years we've done this. 27 for you last week.
Oh, my goodness.
Stinks out loud.
You might want to get a new guy, Frank.
No, I'm doing it myself this year. And
it shows.
Yep. Saquon Barkley went down. I was in trouble. Go ahead.
That was the big one right there. Saquon went out. Mahomes got you 21. Adam Thielen only 6. JP had 50, all on the strength of Tom Brady's 41 last week, so that was good for second to last. Logs with 63 was it right there in the middle. Tony Baselli had 75 points with Joe Burrow, Alvin Kamara, and Jamar Chase, but I won the week with 80 with Josh Allen, Austin Eckler, and Stephon Diggs. So JP at the top right now at 321.
Yes.
I'm at 305. Jeff moves up to 292. Tony at 286, and Frank tumbles from second place to fifth place with 271 points overall. And Frank, you have the first pick, followed by JP, Jeff, Tony, and myself. So, Mr. Frangie.
Yeah, I think I should get 2 picks, but I'll take one. I'll take Lamar Jackson, please.
Okay, Lamar Jackson. It is JP.
Give me Matt Stafford.
Stafford, all right. Going quarterbacks early. On to you, Jeff.
I will take Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, all right. Will Tony continue the trend at quarterback?
I was going to take Josh Allen. That changes things up. I got to dig into my notes here, guys, real quick.
Take
a list of one.
Time limit?
Just relax.
I'll stall for you, Tony, and remind the audience we select a quarterback, running back, and a wide receiver or a tight end, and we can only use them once each all year long.
You know what?
No, I don't.
I'm going Trevor Lawrence.
I knew he was doing that.
I'm going Trevor Lawrence because they got 2 starting corners out.
I like it. He was on my list this week, absolutely. So now that everyone has taken a quarterback, I'll wait for my final pick to take my quarterback, and maybe this is an indication of which one I'm going to take. I'll have Travis Kelce this week, and I will, at running back, go with Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. So back to you, Tony.
I'm going to go Nick Chubb.
That's going to be a tough one. All right, Jeff, on to you.
Why? Is he
Don't
hurt?
worry about
He's
it. Too
out.
late.
No, I'm out.
You're in.
No.
JP Cook last week.
No,
You
first
took
of all,
Chubb.
no,
and
hold
we're
on.
to Jeff.
No, it didn't go to Jeff yet. I'm picking another one.
It's on the sheet. You can say a name if you like. You're getting 0 points for the position this week. You're up, Jeff.
How does that one
it.
feel?
I feel way better.
I will take Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is playing this week, so I think that's a good pick, Jeff. JP, on to you.
Najee Harris.
Okay, Najee it is. Frank, now you get your back-to-back picks.
I'll take Ezekiel Elliott and Cooper Kupp.
Zeke is expected to go despite the questionable tag today. JP, pass catcher.
Stephon Diggs.
Jeff, running back.
Derrick Henry.
Okay. Tony, need a wide receiver or a tight end.
You guys are jerks. Devontae Adams.
We didn't make the bad pick. You made the bad pick.
Well, all your research we would have thought would have shown that.
All your notes.
I'm going Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. All right. Frank's got Lamar Jackson, Ezekiel Elliott, and Cooper Kupp. JP has Matt Stafford, Najee Harris, and Stephon Diggs. Jeff goes with Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Jamar Chase. Tony goes with Trevor Lawrence and Devontae Adams.
I meant Kareem Hunt.
That's a tough one there. Patrick Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, and Travis Kelce for yours truly.
For the record, I got annihilated on Monday's happy hour show by Tony for picking Dalvin Cook last week, and he's going to get annihilated this Monday.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
I don't think I'm going to make the show tomorrow, JP.
My arm.
My arm.
All right. We'll talk to you guys. Tony and Jeff are out of here. They're back in the final hour with Countdown to Kickoff. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Let's visit a little longer with the voice of the Jags, Frank Frangie, in the broadcast booth here in Jacksonville, calling a game in London today. The Dolphins and the Jaguars, both teams need it, Frank, in a bad way.
Yeah, they really do, and it's interesting. If you think about that, I thought, well, the Jags have been over there a lot. Well, the truth of the matter is, a lot of these Jags players haven't been over there, JP, and the Dolphins have been over there a lot as well. So this thing's about as evenly matched. If you think about it, one team's playing a very young quarterback, the other team's playing a very young quarterback who's back and has been out for a while. Both teams aren't feeling very good about themselves. You talk about evenly matched now. Of all these London games, they go into this one about as evenly matched as two teams that I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, and Frank, look, all kidding aside with Tony's selections, I thought the Trevor Lawrence play was a good one because you should be able to do something against this Miami pass defense with the top two corners out. We know they want to run the ball with James Robinson, but how much more involved can they get Laviska Shenault and Marvin Jones Jr.
Well,
today?
That's the thing, Mike, that you've got limited weapons, and the one thing that concerns me about this team more and more is can they stretch the field at all? Because the two guys you mentioned are good players, and that's their two key receivers, but they're not stretch the field guys. I think to really see Trevor Lawrence become what he will become, Mike, and I think that's happening, they've got to get more weapons. They got to get faster outside. So I think he'll have a good game, but I don't think the big games you're talking about are coming until they're a little faster outside. So I think it's going to be more James Robinson than Trevor Lawrence today. But, yeah, I agree with you. Trevor Lawrence is getting better every game. It's a passing league. We all know that. I think he'll have a good game. But I don't think all of a sudden they're going to throw it all over the lot today. I don't see that kind of a game.
Yeah, I mean, James Robinson is the fourth leading rusher in the NFL on the 12th most carries. I mean, he's Mr. Reliable back there. Just turn around and hand it to him.
You know, JP, he is such a good player, and he's so understated as a person. The story, it's a good story, but because he's not drafted and people didn't know a whole lot about him, and the team didn't do very well last year, so it's still a story that not enough people are talking about. He's one of the better backs in the league. No, he's not the fastest guy. No, he's not the biggest guy, but as far as balance and always falling forward and always making something out of nothing, he's a really, really good player. It's a shame for his sake that not more good has happened with the Jaguars since he has been here, because he's an absolutely terrific player, James Robinson.
Frank, a lot's been made about Myles Jack not having the green dot on the helmet anymore, but more pressing is the fact that he didn't make the trip due to injury today. How much will this Jaguar defense miss him, particularly trying to slow down Myles Gaskin, catching the ball out of the backfield who had 10 receptions last week.
That's the thing, Mike, is the linebackers that will have to play now are not great in pass defense. Miles Jack runs so well, and he's so good at that. I worry about what you just said. I think they're going to throw the ball to the backs all day long. I think that's got to be in the game plan, and I think that's trouble. Damian Wilson is a hit-you-in-the-mouth, tough, physical run defense guy. He's your best linebacker right now. He's the best linebacker that's going to play right here. Dakota Allen will get the other start. I think you're going to see Shaq Quarterman some. But the bottom line is, I don't know that any of those guys excel in pass coverage. I think wheel routes and swing routes out of the backfield and screens are a major concern today for the Jaguars.
Frank, I must say, after last season and now the early part of this campaign, I'm about done talking about kickers.
Yeah.
But here we are again. Matthew Wright signed to the active roster. Josh Lambo's inactive again today. Still on the roster. Something's got to give at some point, right?
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, the league has it. When's the last time we've all done the numbers? The last time a team's gone this long without kicking a field goal. Now, look, the kickers are struggling all over the league, JP. It's kind of a weird year to that. I think one of the things that's happened is we're seeing guys try longer and longer field goals, and we're now expecting 55-yarders to be automatic. Think about that. I'm older than you guys, but think about that back in the day. That a 55-yarder you expect him to make that now. Think about that for a second. That's how much the game has changed. But yeah, Matthew Wright kicks today. I assume they've brought him up, so I assume that means he's going to kick today. I think Matthew Wright ultimately will be a good kicker on short-range field goals. JP, I don't know that he's got a big leg, so I think that probably takes the 50-plus yarder out of play, at least as far as that being automatic. Yeah, what a mess, the Jaguars kicking situation for 2 years now. Truly one of the most bizarre things I think I've ever seen.
Frank, I think Jaguar fans are looking at this like, hey, we can get this Miami Dolphin team. They're not that good, and they're looking ahead at the schedule saying, if not now, when? I don't think the players can afford to do that, but when you do look at the games that play out in the near future, it seems like this one is as gettable as any.
I think from our standpoint, that's exactly right. And by the way, as you know, Mike, the Dolphins are saying the same thing. If we're doing this show in Fort Lauderdale, they're saying the same thing we're saying. From our standpoint, I think that too. I'll say this. I think the Jags have been pretty good about worrying about themselves and not getting caught up in who they play, at least outwardly. Look, what has to happen is they got to play better. Trevor Lawrence continues to play better, but I'm with you. I mean, you look at the schedule. You got to go to Seattle. You got to go to the Rams. You're playing Tennessee again. I think if you look at the teams left on this schedule until the end of the year, when you get the Jets and the Falcons and maybe a little bit of relief, yeah, it's a tough schedule, man. This is an important game too, Mike. I think the London trip's really important to this franchise. I think everybody knows that. It's important to shot. It's important. It's a first trip for some of these guys. It's a nationally televised game, although very early in the morning. This is an important game for the Jags for all those reasons, not the least of which is what you just said. It's a team that's about like they are, and it's a game they can win.
Frank, appreciate it as always. Have a great call. We'll talk to you.
All right, fellas. Thank you.
Frank Frangie out of here, voice of the Jags, joining us from the broadcast booth here in Jacksonville. Up next, a visit with the Ozone. Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us for his final thoughts ahead of this Week 6 London matchup. We'll have Jaguars Radio Network coverage starting at 8:30 with countdown to kickoff. We're a little over an hour away from Week 6. The Dolphins and the Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
We all want to look and feel our best, so why not take the next step with a consultation with Dr. Patrick Basil, board-certified plastic surgeon. Offering a variety of wellness, skincare, and aesthetic treatment options, you can look better, feel more confident, and transform into your best self. They offer the most advanced, innovative treatments in a modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more at TransformJax.com. That's TransformJax.com or call 904-222-6262.
As J-Tech continues to train tomorrow's technicians right here in Jacksonville and supply them throughout the Southeast, they wanted everyone to know that they are the biggest Jaguars fans around. J-Tech is super excited about this season. They are equally excited about the $6.8 million improvement of their facility and the program growth in auto, diesel, HVAC, marine, and RV programs. Come check them out on the south side of Jacksonville or visit online at jtech.org.
It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it. You make power plays. You pick your team. At Farrah and Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7. Jacksonville.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
I'm Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. My husband is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. I'm always looking for easy ways to save time, and Publix helps me tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties and counts of Tide and Gain are $3 off.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate show. The Dolphins and the Jaguars coming up. The international series continues in Week 6. The Dolphins and the Jags. Dolphins at 1-4. Jaguars at 0-5. We mentioned earlier the inactives. 2 players have been elevated from the practice squad with the standard elevation. Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, is available today. And offensive lineman Casey McDermott. He would be the backup center today if Tyler Shatley were to go down at all. Shatley getting the start in place of the injured Brandon Linder. Well, there's also somebody else that's always very active, and it's the Ozone.
This broadcast is ozone friendly.
The Ozone. Easy for me to say. Jaguars.com senior writer John Ozier joining us here in studio.
Yeah, bright and early, Jake. I know it's late for you guys. Still feels early to me, but this is it's a wild setup doing this in the morning.
It is.
Here we are. The teams in London, John decided to go casual today with the team in London, right? Am I wrong about that? Does he have more of a casual feel to him today?
Yeah, he's laid back today. Like he's just going to have some coffee and some eggs and
What's
bacon.
the golf shirt? You used to see me in a suit and tie, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. I'm used to seeing it like in a button-up shirt at least,
That's guilty as charged.
The overseers are away, and
that's right.
John's slacking on the wardrobe.
So the Jags are back in London. It's the 8th game over there. It's the first game they'll play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dolphins have been over a bunch in their franchise's history, so that kind of gets washed away a little bit today. And both teams need this game in a big way beyond just the London thing.
Yeah, you guys have been over there. To me, London feels like less of a thing about this game. Maybe it's because we're not over there, but the Dolphins have been over there a bunch, so franchise-wise, I figure that's probably even. I woke up this morning thinking, boy, the Jaguars need this. They're probably not going to get a matchup in terms of personnel on the field much better than this. I'm hopeful, but there are things the Jaguars haven't done yet this year that I think they need to do to win, and I've got to see them do it first. I've got to see them create turnovers. I've got to see them create good pressure on the opposing quarterback, and I've got to see them score more than 3 touchdowns. So far, they haven't done those things. I think those are the formula today, but I've got to see it to believe it.
But if you were going to dial up a scenario, John, you've got Tua Tagovailoa coming off of injury. Yep. Didn't have a great start to the year as it was, so he's got to not only get prepared to play, but play a game overseas. 2 of his top 3 receivers are out, and Will Fuller and Devontae Parker. The 2 cornerbacks are out for the Miami Dolphins today. I mean, in terms of the matchup you'd want to pick, if you could pick any of the other 31 teams this week, you probably would pick Miami.
It seems as favorable as any game since Houston. And, of course, we know what happened to Houston, but the opener is kind of weird. You never really know what you're going to get. Now, as you said, Mike, you've seen these teams 4 or 5 times. It's favorable. They need to go do it, but so far this team hasn't done it, so we've got to see it.
What do you make of all the communication struggles on defense last week and the narrative this week around it and the changes and the green dot talk? It's a lot of, for week 6, that's a lot of talk.
Well, the green dot talk, I got questions this week. Is this demotion for Myles Jack? I didn't see it like that. I just saw it as, he has played better without the green dot. He's not playing today, so it's a non-issue. But their communication, to me, has been a thing all year. Offense at the start of the season, it was a thing. Last week on defense, young players, Kayvon Chason made the mistake that led to the touchdown. I'm not sure how to explain it. I know those kind of things in the NFL bite you, and I think it's one of the reasons that we all need to see them perform to believe that those kind of things are in the past. Those are big things you got to do in football games. They haven't done those yet.
John, JP and I have talked a lot about James Robinson this morning. That's been an ongoing discussion, and the outside receivers. What about Dan Arnold, who's come in and made a pretty solid impact in his brief appearances with the Jaguars so far? How big of a part of the passing game will he be going forward?
Well, let me ask you guys this. Aside from Trevor Lawrence, is there anybody that you feel more optimistic about in terms of what they might be able to bring the rest of the season? I mean, he actually looks, for the first time in a long time at tight end, like he could be a long-term factor. I added up his, I did some math, JP and Mike, which I usually don't do.
Don't hurt yourself.
He's had a pace the last couple of games to get about 800 yards receiving over the course of a season. They haven't had anything like that. So I think he can be very important. He's an element that we haven't seen before. Maybe they start using him and get a wrinkle on offense. I don't know that they're going to have a downfield passing game without DJ Chark. I don't know that LaVisca or Marvin Jones bring that. Tyron Johnson is out today, so I don't know where that comes from. Perhaps the tight end is a wrinkle they can use because I don't know how explosive they're going to be.
Kickers, John. Kickers.
We got them.
We got both of them. Matt Wright is up. He's on the roster. Josh Lambo's inactive again today, and this saga continues.
Just a strange, I hope, because he's been so good for 4 years or 3.5 years, that at some point he is ready, wins the competition, whatever that means, to get a chance on the field. And I think we've all talked about it on Mike's show, JP, with you. At some point, I just feel like they're going to have to, whatever the competition brings, if they want Lambo to be a part of this, you have to put him back out on the field and see if he can do it. I don't know how much competition on a Thursday is going to fix what the performances that got him to this point. So at some point, you've got to put him out for a couple of games. If he sticks him through the uprights, then he's your guy. If he's not, he's not. I'm not sure where the end game is on this.
I think it's tough to do, though, if you say, look, you're struggling, and then you don't kick better than the other guy in practice. True. If you're a bottom line type coach and you don't have that history with Lambo like Urban Meyer
I agree
does.
with you. I just don't know that in that light what the end game is on Lambo. When you just say
enough's enough.
But you've had this incredible history. So do you want to give up on the guy? I think it's a strange situation. I've never seen it before.
Yep. There's a lot of things we haven't seen before. John, have a great day today. We'll talk to you, man.
Guys, I enjoy it.
Thank you, John Ozier with that nice teal polo on today. That'll do it for the Publix Tailgate Show. We're back with network coverage. Countdown to kickoff. Plenty ahead of Week 6. The Dolphins and Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done.